How many times do we swallow our voice to keep the peace? And what does that cost us? So this go around, I'm going to keep things more low-key. We'll sparkle on the editing, more MTBM font. I've got some stuff I want to share, and this felt like the right way to do it. Hey there, I'm Kristol, and I want to talk about using your voice. Have you ever noticed that the second you stop being nice and stand your ground, suddenly things change? My central theme in this video is a specific story, but contractors, dating, work, even just general, out in life, trying to mind your business, interacting with people, and you're nice, doesn't seem to land. You really have to stand your ground, and then it turns. I caught myself doing it this week. So here's what's been going on. I have been trying to get my basement done. A new room in the basement. It has been almost 3 months of delays, screw-ups, just a whole mess. And through all of it, working with the GC, he's telling me, "You're so nice, you're always happy, you're easy to work with." It sounded like a compliment until it kept being said, and it started to take on a different connotation and sounded more like, "Don't rock the boat. You are very nice. Don't look over here." Fast forward to this week. A little more backstory before I get into the crux of this week. The basement job, the agreement was half down, half on completion. There was some back and forth during the job because I'm trying to get mini splits, which would also impact the room. So I was going to have a different contractor. This company said they could do it. And that caused a lot of this delay because, never mind, they couldn't do it. I finally said, I'm going to go with this other company. This week starts with the half down, half on completion debacle and the final fall down. I get a phone call from their office along with an email with an invoice. So she's telling me that they had sent me the invoice because of a payment due. The job is halfway done and they want more money. Understood, but it was half down, half on completion. The job isn't done. I stood my ground. I'm not paying any more money until the job is complete. That was not the agreement. She said that was fine. She let the boss know. And after we get off the phone, I look at the invoice and it's changed. I emailed them to reaffirm, and you need to fix the invoice back to what it was. And then from that point, it's just been all this back and forth. I talk to the GC. I like my customers. The boss is, you do what you feel you need to do. I'm going to get in trouble, but you do what you need to do. And then when we're talking through the invoice, he's like, "Oh, we'll see what we can do." The invoice is wrong. It needs to be fixed, period. They update the bill. Him and the office person call me and tell me that they've discounted the invoice for me. And when I look, they actually added $2,000 worth of charges on there. The GC's not even talking to me now. The office person called me after I sent a long email detailing them why they're on track. And she's like, "We did those items. You did do those items, and they're still listed in the old section. I'm not paying twice. Take it off." Here's the crazy part. I felt guilty for using my voice. I felt guilty standing my ground on the first phone call, but it's wrong. And it feels like it's so silly. It's just a small thing, but it's just an accumulation of all of this throughout the months, the constant dealing with this. I just had gotten to a point, I have to speak up for myself. I can't keep doing this. And this is part of the problem is when you don't use your voice, let things stack up until it gets to a point when it would have been much easier all the way around. They would have been done months ago. I'm pretty sure I would already have the splits, the roux, a little less crazy in my life. But I didn't want to speak up. I didn't want to make them feel bad. They said they could do it, so I let it slide. And the person that they brought in didn't want to do it. They didn't want to deal with all the work they had to do. The other person that was going to do it was not around. It was just a lot of back and forth, drama. And I really, at each of those points, I'm just going to do my own thing. But I felt bad. He was so nice. He thought I was so nice. We're a good working relationship. And part of me felt if I said, "I don't want you guys doing this. I just want this room and I'll deal with this on my own," that would start the whole situation. Historically, it seemed like I'm trying to go along, trying to be easy about something, not to rock the boat at my own expense. And then when I finally speak up, heavy emotion on their side. So I try to go easy. I did not let it go as long as I usually did, but it's still way too long. And I caught myself thinking, why am I so worried about this? They're doing a job incorrectly. Why am I so worried about whether they like me or not? He's a human being, the office. They're just trying to do their job. I understand that. But this is at my expense, and they're lying. I can be respectful, but I need to hold the line here. I can be polite and fair, but I'm not laughing anymore. And I shouldn't have to silence myself to keep everyone else comfortable. That guilt them. That's the trap, right? The second you stop being nice, the charm disappears, and suddenly you become the problem. This is not limited to contractors. You're out in the wild just trying to do you. Somebody wants to buy you a drink and you say no. Suddenly you're a whore. You're being difficult. You walk away from a pushy salesman, you feel like you did them wrong. I always try to duck out at Home Depot to avoid, because I feel bad about saying no, but buddy, I don't want it. At work, you finally say, that's not my job. And then you are definitely not a team player. We didn't create these situations. We didn't pick this fight. But the minute we use our voice and stand our ground, we're made to feel like we're the asshole. Seriously? So the question becomes, how do you use your voice without drowning in guilt or worrying how the other person's going to feel? And here's what I have to keep reminding myself, especially this week. We have to separate kindness from compliance. I think you can be respectful and firm without agreeing. Saying no doesn't cancel out your decency. Recognize the guilt as a signal, not a truth. That little ping of guilt doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means you're breaking a pattern. It's something you're used to taking on, and you have to break the pattern. You have to stick to fairness, not feelings. You're not rejecting the person. You're just holding the line on what's fair. You're rejecting the request. If they flip out, that's on them. That's not proof that you're wrong. We need to give ourselves permission to disappoint. It's going to happen. Why should I feel disappointed for something that someone else wants? Someone getting upset about this, it's not a crisis. It just means they didn't get their way. That doesn't make you the villain. Doesn't make me the villain. These are reminders that have helped me stand my ground this week. And it's not over. I'm not being mean. I'm not being dramatic. I'm just refusing to lose my voice in these situations. I spoke up for myself. I feel better about it. In the end, they're here for a purpose, not to be a new bestie. This one's a little bit more unplugged. But now I want to hear your stories. Do you swallow your voice to keep the peace? And when do you finally stand up? What's the breaking point for you? Or standing your ground comes easily to you? No guilt involved. I'm Kristol, and I'll see you next time.